Hello everyone, welcome to our um, coding session on Android Studio. So we're going to be developing our first app. So it's going to be very basic. I'm not going to talk so much about it. I'll just walk us through the steps because it's quite straightforward. So I had already created a file here, my first app. So I'm going to be working on it, but I'm going to show you the steps from how it's created. So first thing you do is to create a new project. You click on the create a new project button. So when you do that, you see this select a project template here. So by default it's safe to it selects the empty activity already, so you just go with that because you actually would need to do it on empty activity. If you do no activity, it means you have to be creating the layout from scratch. But if you do empty activity, then you already have like a basic layout. So you click on next, and then you have to put your application name. In your case, you could just make it like my first app, like I did with the other one. So you could just click my um, first app, and then in your case you're going to see something like com.example. Instead of etc, you see something like example here. So you don't have to change it, just leave it be. Then when you're done with it, you now click on finish. But I'm not going to click on finish because I've already created the app and I do not want it to take time. And you have to be sure you have an internet connection because it's going to have to download some files during the building process. So you just do that. So I'm just going to click on my first app since I've already created it from scratch. So you'll still get to this page. Alright, so when you're done creating the project, you will have this basic layout. This is how it's going to look. Alright, so you're going to have the main activity.java and the activity main XML. So the XML is mainly used to design the layout of your application. So what we'll see now, if we click on, okay, let's start from the main activity. From the main activity, you can see the package. The package is what you saw from the beginning there, where I was talking about. In your case, you might see something like com.example. In my case, is com.atc, and then you have the my first app. So you need to be sure of this because if you are uploading your application to the Google Play Store, you are going to have to know your package name, and you have to put it, because that is like sort of like your ID for anybody who wishes to download your application. They are literally downloading from this your package here. And if you have uploaded an application that has this particular package, no other one can use the same package name. So the package names are unique, and then that could be really stressful, especially if you are trying to upload an app and then the application has lots of errors that you need to fix. And then since they have already blacklisted your application for being faulty, you have to go and create another one with a different package name, and then have to copy the whole source codes into the different package. So it can be quite stressful. So you need to be sure of your package name and make sure you do not make unnecessary errors. So we have the import keyword here. In the Android Studio, it uses the import keyword. I think you will also see it in the NetBeans, right? The NetBeans IDE. They always use the import. It's a keyword. It's used to import the class files. I sort of see them like addresses where um, um, the features you are trying to use are located. At least I think that is the less or the best way I can put it. I don't know. So and then we now have the activity main, which I said is like your layout. So if this loads, you will see the basic layout file. But first, let's see it from the code view. So you can see it's showing red because the Gradle is not done building. You see the Gradle is still building, and that's why you always have to have a steady internet connection. And the fun thing about it is that your data doesn't have to be on the whole time. You don't need the internet the whole time. You just need to build the file, and then you could do your editing. But if you want to put in, maybe you want to implement new what are they called, I always forget their names. They're down here. Let me see if the project, I don't know. I just work and I don't stress about their names that much because they don't really matter to me. All I'm concerned about is, am I able to deliver an application? Can I build what I want? So I don't really stress too much about their names, but you will still get to know them anyway. I know the name, but I'm still missing. But it's more of like implementation. We need them for implementation. I think if I open the build Gradle, you should see something like that here. It's still loading. Everything is loading. Okay, this is one of the build Gradle. There are two of them. There are two of them. You have this one down here, and then you have this other one in the, sorry, wrong file. Then we have this other one under the app section, and this is what I'm talking about, the implementation. So everything you use needs to be implemented. As you can see, the Android X.app compat and then all of this stuff, you could see it's being used here. So before you can import something, the thing hard, you need to implement them. Implementing is basically like downloading them and saving them in your IDE for use. So the Android X has already been downloaded for you, so that is not much of a problem. But there are some of them you will need to download on your own, and it's just how it works. You need to download them to use them. So that's how it works. Don't worry too much about this other information. You will learn about them as you grow in the knowledge. Okay, the IDE is coming to life now. I don't know how long it might take on your end, but if you're experiencing problems, this is usually the difficult stage, right? So if you're able to conquer from this stage, then you are good to go. Let me switch to the Android view. Okay, perfect. Right. Open up. I think it's going to turn green now, or white. Probably white. Most times I like to give it a little push. Just copy the whole information and then delete it. But in my case, my laptop is slowing down, so it can be quite annoying. Alright, and then I just paste back the information. So okay, it's looking good now. We split it. Alright, we have a basic layout now, and this is how it looks. This is a basic app. All it does is just print the text, hello world. That's just all. You could change the word to anything you want. You could make it my system again. I think I really need to delete a lot of files I'm not using. You can make the H recorder, anything you want. So, and that brings me down to the text view. I think I should explain what the text view is about. I think it's self-explanatory. The text view basically just prints text. You could use it to print the text, and it controls everything text. As long as you could type something into it, you could use the text view. The other ones, like the image view, where instead of the H decoder, you could put an image. All you need to do is just to put the keyword. Oh, that's frustrating. Sorry, it might be faster on your end. Mine is running slow. I have lots of files inside. Image view, and then just put the. Sometimes you don't need to type. You just need to give it a little. Give it a hint about what you're trying to put, and then just. So it helps basically with the coding, and that's why coding is seamless with this one, unlike most IDEs, and that's why this one is recommended. So there's a lot. So I'm not going to bore us with this one. This is a topic for another day. Always make sure you put your, I don't know if it's a backward slash or it's a forward slash. I think it's a forward slash, and then your greater than sign. This is how you end the codes in the XML view. It's different in the in the Java view. The Java view is usually with a, a semicolon, and then with your, are they called, I think they're called, oh damn, is it brace brackets or ankle brackets? I don't know. My mind is just, I'm just restless right now. I've had a very stressful day. Alright, so okay, so let's just run our first app and see how it goes. Just the way it is. We are not going to do much, no much coding. It's just to have an app on our phone. So you see up here we have my phone showing, right? Um, I don't remember how it will look like if um if it's not set this way, but my phone is showing on my IDE because I've set it to USB debugging. I put a link on the material, the notes, about how you could how to enable USB debugging on your device. So once you've done that, all you need to do is just plug in your USB cord to your Android phone or your tablet, right? And then it shows up there, and then you run your codes. So otherwise, because I do not like to use the emulators, they really slow down your computer. They are not the best option. I usually prefer to have it in your phone. At least you could see how it looks like. So in my case, all I'll do is just to click on the run, because I'm not doing much anymore. So it's going to take a while. Change this stuff. Oh damn. Okay, while it's taking its time building, usually the first run takes longer because there's a lot of information to put together, but in our case it shouldn't be so long because I mean there's not much. It's just a basic application. All I did was just to change the hello world text to H decoder. So let me let me see how it goes. So I think the first task, the sorry, don't mind me. I'm also very thirsty. So your first task should be to familiarize yourself with the IDE, the Android Studio IDE, to see what each button does. So that is the first thing you should do. At least when you've done that, you can find your way around. Let me just do a quick here. So we have the resources, the RES resources. So all of it is, there's a way they are structured, right? Some information cannot be placed in a different or some files cannot be placed in a different folder. You need to be very sure of the folder you're putting your file in. Like for instance, the drawables are more of like, they're XML files, but I think you could put information like pictures and mostly pictures, your logos and all of that stuff in the drawable side. And this is where the your your app icon is located. You could create one too using this drawable. And then your layout, you have the obviously the layout, how you see it on your device. And we have the activity main, which is the only activity that has been created here. So then we have the main map. So you could see the launcher is your icon, right? Usually when you create, sometimes some of the XML is located in the drawable. That's how it's done. So here is specifically for the icons and all of that. So we also have the values. Under the values we have colors. So the colors have this code stuff, and I don't really bother myself about memorizing all of them. The only ones I know are just the hashtag and the FFFFF, like 6 times. I don't know why this one's about, looks like 7, or is it 8? It's 8. right? Okay, so this F is white, as you can see. Then I usually use 000 like six times for black. And then you have these other colors, but the charts are not difficult. Just all you need to do just to get a chart. You could get the chart on your phone, you could get a screenshot on your phone, you can get an app that has the charts in them, and then the color charts are there with their codes, so you don't need to bother yourself about memorizing this stuff. And then what else? We have the strings. The strings usually save text. The strings, it saves strings, right? You know, when we were learning to code, I mentioned something about strings and how they are variables. You save values to them, right? So in this case now, there's a particular file for viewing all your saved strings. So for instance, now the first one is the app name, my first app that's been saved. So this is how it's going to show when you run the application. Well, after running the application on your store, you know how you can see the name of an app. This is where it's written. So you see there. So every string I save will appear here. They all reflect here. So then we have the themes. The themes are more of like I like to view them like more of they play a role in the user interface, right? There's Since now our phones are designed, that's not how it used to be before. Our phones are designed to have the light mode and the dark mode. So you save how you want the application to look when it's set to the light mode, and you save how you want it to look in the dark mode. So this is just basically how it looks. There's a lot of this stuff I can't cover in this lecture, so many of these will only be done in my paid course, because there's just a lot. 7 days class can't fit in everything, and it takes a lot of effort. I'm often playing. So this is for the night. That's just how it looks. Man, this stuff is still building. Wow.